Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. It's another tier list. Due to the main character tier list being so popular and so many people asked, people have demanded a Kameo tier list. So we're here to provide exactly that. So on the screen here, you can see I have all sorts of cameos, all sorts of tiers. You might notice the tiers go up pretty high this time around, and you're probably under no disillusions under who exactly that is, I'm sure, right? But that said, in this Kameo tier list, I'm going to go over all the characters and discuss them, some more than others, because some bear more discussing than others. And of course, if you want to skip to the end, I'm sure there's a timestamp somewhere there to skip to the end. But as always, you'll see a choice I made, get mad, and you'll rewind the video anyways to see what I said about the character, right? So that said, let's start at the start here. Once again, we got S+. What on earth could S+ be? You know it's like, why even build this up? Why pretend, right? So Cyrax is the most dominant cameo in the game because Cyrax offers everything you could hope for in a cameo. He gives you neutral, he gives you pressure, he gives you combos, he gives you everything. And he's even got some unique bonuses. So I'm not here to bestow the virtues of Cyrax Copter to you in this video. We all know Cyrax Copter is ridiculous. The fact that you get the two versions, you get the base call, which is the combo monkey version, and you get the horizontal call, which is the pressure and also combo depending on the character version. It is by itself as a singular button the best cameo call in the game, right? So we're not here to talk about that. And that's really good, all that kind of stuff. Self-destruct's all right. You know, it has some gimmicks. But even stuff like the throw. So in case you're unaware, Cyrax is a character that has an enhanced throw. So all you gotta do while you're throwing someone, hit block, and you'll get a bounce. Takes 2 bars, so it's similar to Jax in that you can burn bar for, you know, more damage, but it's more damage. Just to give you a basic example, this is nothing too complex or anything like that. We're not gonna go and break the bank on this, but right out of the gate, 24%, right? So is that meter inefficient? Sure, but it's also off a regular throw. And almost 25% off a regular throw is game winning. Like, let's call it for what it is, right? Like if we were, say, Jax, the ability to get extra damage off the throws is a big deal, and he only gives you 21%. And with my meter inefficient combo that I didn't practice at all before this video, I still got 24%. I got more than what Jax can give you, and that's one of his main gimmicks. And Cyrax, 0 practice, 0 labbing, didn't bother to figure anything out. I can get more damage and his whole gimmick off 2 bars, right? And if you optimize it, I've seen some pretty decent damage off it. So he gives you the grappling benefit too, on top of all the other stuff, right? Once again, I just want to highlight that because we talked about all the other aspects of Cyrax to death on this channel, and I'm sure you've seen it in every match you've ever seen with Cyrax already, right? So Cyrax, unequivocally, he's got no downsides, he's nothing but upsides, he's #1 on our list. That's all that needs to be said, really. Now, of course, we got a whole whack of tiers, right? Cameos kind of run the gamut a little bit. And obviously things like having health bonuses or health disadvantages play into it as well. And of course, Cyrax having no disadvantage at all also plays into the fact that he's pretty dang good, right? So let's talk about another character here. Here's a character I don't believe in as much. I want to because I think he's cool, but Motaro. So Motaro, we're going to put him down here in the B tier. Why? 1, he has a health disadvantage. That sucks. And does he earn that health disadvantage? I don't think so. So he does have cool things like the turret, the multiple 3 shots, cool. But you use it and that's it for, you know, split-second pressure versus, say, the Cyrax Copter. You can call that a bunch of times, right? And it's better pressure than the turret in a lot of ways. He has a plus on block low shot, which is all right. It's actually, I would say, even better than all right. But that's about it. The projectile reflect is more in the gimmick than anything else. It's not awful. It's better to have it than not. But to me, overall, Motaro is just unimpressive. Does he have the teleport? Yes. But is there a much better teleport in this game? Yes, there is. One that outclasses it basically on every level you can think of. So I want Motaro to be better. At bare minimum, he should not have a health disadvantage. That alone, I think, would move him up 1 tier for me. But he does. And considering his current performance level, and the fact that a lot of things you want out of this character, you can find better somewhere else. That's why I have him in a lower tier. Now, that said, Kung Lao. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Yeah, that's where he's going. So Kung Lao offers almost everything. His only crime is he isn't Cyrax. Now, for Kung Lao, I've been singing his praises since the start. And some people are finally starting to catch up here. So why is he S rank? Well, low hat. We'll talk about other stuff, but low hat's a big part of it. One, as a projectile, it's one of the best projectiles in the game. It's better than most of the cast's base projectiles. You can win zoning wars with this and this alone because it's fast enough. It's a low, therefore you cannot neutral duck it. Most of the better fireballs, like, you know, you gotta do the old walk and neutral duck your way through the minefield, right? Like, this doesn't work against low hat. It also regenerates at a ridiculously brisk pace, which is great. That means you get the zoning with it, you get the spam with it, and naturally, you can hold it. So when you hold it, I've showed this off in other videos, but yeah, guess low, high, guess high, low, all that kind of stuff. It enforces that very well. And even if you don't have necessarily a 50-50 gimmick with it, it's just pure pressure. Like, I can do something unsafe, and if you dare hit a button back, that's when the hat's going to hit you, and then I'm going to get a hit back on you. And you know what? Depending on the spacing and all that, I might get a full combo off of it. So it's really powerful as a revenge mechanic, as a pressure mechanic, as a basic zoning tool. It's everything to everyone almost. It's not necessarily the sledgehammer that Cyrax Copter is, because you can use it in some combos, but like that's going to be much rarer. It doesn't enable much in the way of combos that way. But it's still really good, and for the characters that like it a lot, I actually think it's better than Cyrax Copter. The only thing holding it back and why Lao's lower than Cyrax is simply because it's not as universally applicable. And of course, still, if you want combos, we got combos, right? Like, we got Spin. By the way, Spin is an invincible reversal. There's not many of these in the game. And unlike the other invincible reversals, it retains its launching property. So the other ones are basically like, just get off me. And this one's like, no, get off me, but also, you know, have a little combo as a treat. Other reversals that normally would be combo starters that would launch or start a combo, like say Sonya's scissors, do not maintain that property. Only Lao's does. So it's extra strong. Like, yeah, it's a little slower. So say things like Serena's reversal would catch, maybe necessarily Lao wouldn't, but still very powerful. There's not many invincible reversals in the game. And of course, teleport, right? Like, teleport's great. He also has the option, unlike Motaro, to have two kinds of teleports. You can either have the regular version or you can have the held version, which puts you in a jumping state, which means you can jump, land, and go for a bigger move than you could with Motaro. So your combo ability with teleports with Lao is better. And you can still do the regular grounded one as well, like whatever floats your boat. And Lao even has a hit of armor while he's holding you like a baby on the way up, right? So it's just a lot of utility. Like, man, Lao is so good. Like, hat's the main event for sure. Like, there's been points where, like, I don't want to do the combo version because it gives you the slower cameo regeneration. I just want to spam hat over and over and over. So, like, hat's so good that makes you want to use some of the other moves less in a lot of ways. But yeah, man, it's so good. Kung Lao is an amazing cameo. Now, let's get some easy ones out of the way here. So, let's go to Serena. So, Serena is really good. Like, you may have found me in other videos like trying to downplay her, quote unquote, right? Only in the fact that I'm just saying she's not the single best cameo in the game, which she isn't. That said, though, she is really, really good. The projectile game is very solid. Most of the cast, even about, say, mid-screen-ish, if you manage to get with the double projectile hit, that's probably a full combo for you. That's really handy. And obviously, too, her flash kick reversal is great. It's like the fastest, as far as I can remember, invincible reversal in the game for the cameos. That's really, really handy. Also, it's very safe on block. We talked about the Kung Lao one. That is death on block. If you get blocked, you're done for. Serena is barely negative, right? So that's just very strong. She's just very strong all around. She's helpful for almost every single character. And some of the things like the meter drain, meter builds so fast in this game. It's like not as great as you would think. But it's not the worst either, right? But pound for pound, Serena works for almost every single character, and she is legitimately fantastic. Now let's fill out another tier, the A tier. So still good, but Frost. So Frost is perfectly all right. That's about basically it. She has very interesting traps with the ice ball setup. Her low freeze, very good for like brute force freeze combos that get additional damage, all that kind of stuff. She has the held punches which push people back, which is helpful, but kind of like just the definition of pretty alright, but nothing overwhelming, right? She's some characters' best friends if you want to build around her specific foibles, but she's not just the easy plug in, plug out, like I just automatically make the character better, like you'll find, like, say, in the A+ and up ranks. Those characters, like, you just slap them in, and whoever you're playing is turbocharged. Frost, you have to build a specific game plan around, and sometimes that game plan is great. Like, I've seen Frost Kenshi work to pretty fantastic results, but she doesn't just automatically make the character automatically better, and that's her only real fault. So nothing bad by herself, but nothing overwhelming. And let's fill out the bottom tier. So the bottom tier, I don't want to do it, but we got to do it, right? So Shujinko. Shujinko's a gimmick. He's a gimmick. That's it. Like, we got to call it for what it is. The rooflemonger, did you see the Shujinko Kenshi puppet thing? Yeah, I did. Okay, it's really cool. And maybe against Kenshi specifically, he is the pick. I don't know. But is like in a void, you got to take everything in like one big ball and just squash it all together. Shujinko is nothing more than a gimmick. He by definition cannot be reliable, because what he offers you changes every single match. His like base punch and kick are nothing, right? So if for the specific gimmick you want against the specific character you want shows up in that match, great. But most of the time, who knows? Like, if you got no cool Shujinko Johnny setup, well, I guess he's dead weight, right? And the fact that his value goes up and down depending on your match versus like Cyrax, you better believe Cyrax is Cyrax no matter who you're fighting, right? Kung Lao is Kung Lao no matter who you're fighting. What they offer you is the same fixed value, which is a fantastic value. Shujinko, his value goes up and down, therefore he just has to be at the bottom list. Like, there's just no other answer for it. Now, let's talk one of my favorite assists in this game, and that is our boy Striker. And Striker is absolutely A+. He's incredibly valuable and gives you so much to work with. So now, hopefully, if I can do this correctly this time, unlike the last video. Hey, okay, I think that worked. We'll find out in editing, right? So Striker. So by himself, what Striker offers you, he offers you low and high mix, right? And it's not even that bad, because the low is +3 on block and the overhead is +6 on block, which is ridiculous. So if you're a character that's somehow deficient in the whole high-low thing, he's got your back, right? And even if it gets blocked, once again, +6 is nothing to sneeze at, man. That's really, really good. It is assuredly your turn if you're +6. But that's not all. So he does give you the jail. And check out the video on jailing on the channel if you haven't already, right? So he holds you in place for over 30 frames. It doesn't do much damage, but the idea is once you're held in place, okay, man, what am I going to do next? Since you can't do nothing, am I going to go low on you? Am I going to go high? Who knows? Or am I just going to pressure you with a bunch of pressure, chip you out, or just go for even more plus rate? Whatever. That's valuable. But the main event is the grenades. So grenades is an ambush call. And that's what makes it so fantastic. So you have close grenade, far grenade, right? And for many things, the grenades lets you get combo ability, right? So I can say, for an example, now this isn't meant to be an optimal combo by any stretch, right? But just to give you an idea, right? It helps you juggle just like many assists would. And as an ambush call, you can get pretty inventive with it, call at any point you want. And once again, close and far tosses lets you get very inventive with the juggles, but it also lets you do stupid stuff. Like, say I'm Garrus here, I want to go for that overhead, and you better believe it's extra negative on block if it gets blocked. But if I go for it and just immediately call Striker, like, are you going to do anything about it? Not really, because you run the risk of getting the grenades exploded in your face. So I now made an unsafe move safe. And if you try to challenge it, then they're going to explode in your face and I'm going to get a full combo. So a lot of characters can do a lot of pressure that is exceptional with the grenades, especially because he does not have to be exactly where you are to get called, right? He comes from behind, unlike, say, Cyrax, where he'll try to be in place with you first, then go off. Like, say you're Reptile, right? And you want to go for run gimmicks. And, of course, run gets blocked. It's not very safe on block. but you can just do it and call Striker. And if it happens, if they try to, you know, punish you for it, grenade's going to explode in their face. You get a full combo. And much the same here, say you want to do the EX version, which the second hit always goes off even on block, right? Same deal. You still call Striker. And if it gets blocked, he'll still tap him with the grenade on the other side, right? It's just more reliable than Cyrax in some situations, especially with characters that are doing a lot of movement all at once. And in a lot of ways, the grenade call is like Cyrax Copter in that it can be used as a sledgehammer. It does give you combo ability. It does give you pressure. It lets you take turn after turn after turn. You know, it makes unsafe moves safe, right? And that's really good. The only thing that really holds Striker back is he is a negative health character, right? So you will lose health by taking him, or negative health Kameo, that is. And some of his greater overall utility maybe doesn't match Cyrax overall, because, you know, he doesn't have net either. But overall, Striker is really, really, really good. Now, let's keep the roster going, right? So, a couple other people I'm not the biggest fans of, but their effectiveness cannot be denied, is Scorpion and Jax. So I consider these like very vanilla picks because they only, for the most part, offer more damage. But the amount of damage they offer is a lot, like a lot. For the most part, these two cameos will give you the highest damage in the game, right? So even if I don't like, personally, I like utility more than damage, I cannot argue the effectiveness of the damage because their damage is about as good as you can get, right? And Scorpion does give you a runaway gimmick too, which is handy. And he does let you get combos that, for the most part, other characters can't get and makes them very painful. And Jax obviously gives you all the unblockable gimmicks as well, right? So they're both great, and Jax also plus 100 health. That's really good. So they're both great. Well, I don't think they're as good as Cyrax or Kung Lao, but still, A+ is a good tier. I'm saying they're really good, so that's where they belong. Now, someone just a bit below, wish I could put him higher, but Kano. Kano gives all the versatility in the world, right? He gives you a good projectile, probably better than the one your character has, with the eye laser, regenerates fast. Knives, hidden knives is so good. Like the double knife, combos, gimmicks, pressure, anything you can name. Same with the Kano ball, right? You can hold it. You can have it just sitting as a threat spinning on the screen. Kano is basically nothing but a big bag utility. You can always benefit no matter what character you are from Kano. The only thing I can fault is no one thing is overwhelming. And for the few things that are really good, like, hey, Knife ambush call, really, really good. But compared to, like, say, the Striker ambush call, I think Grenades is much better. If only for the fact that Striker appears behind further, so he's much less susceptible to being hit than Kano is, because Kano wants to be level with your character first before he throws the knives. But overall, Kano is solid, just not overwhelming. Now, I think it's high time we're due for a controversial pick. So what I'm going to do here, Goro. No, okay, we're not doing that. But Goro, middle of the pack 8 here, still good. And yes, the characters Goro works with, he's exceptional with. Like Goro Astra, amazing team. Maybe even like the best cameo for that character, and she's a great character, right? But yeah, Goro's just not as overwhelmingly applicable to a lot of people. Up punch is great. But his other moves like the unblockable, punch walk, the ground throw, their status is niche to gimmick, to be honest, right? Up punch is the main reason you're picking them. And for the things you would use it for, combo ability, pressure on block, all that kind of stuff, like, you got this guy. And Cyrax, by existing, invalidates some of the better choices, I would say. Now, once again, I think Goro's all right. But he's also a negative health character. You lose health for picking him, which doesn't work in his favor. And Cyrax is not. And that's about it. So I think Goro's exceptional for the characters that work with him. But he's a bit more edge case. A lot of these characters in the tier above, Serena works with everyone. Striker works with everyone, in my opinion. And you got the two Sledgehammer Bros and Scorpion and Jax for just raw damage. Goro can't offer you that damage these guys offer you. And he can't offer you the utility these characters offer you. So I think he's exceptional for the characters he works with, but since he's more of a niche kind of cameo and the lower health, he's in this tier. Okay, so we're kind of coming to the end of it here, so let's just kind of start banging these out. So Darius, also an A tier. Solid, good for the characters he's good with. Big fan of Reiko, if you haven't seen some of that stuff. but he's got a very defined game plan, and he does not work outside of it. You're not calling him in neutral to save your butt. You're not calling him in neutral to get pressure, right? Like, you're doing the combo or you're doing the setup. That's it. That's all. So he has a very defined game plan, but he does not work outside of it. The game plan's good. It's good, but that's all there is to it. So A tier it is. And, well, let's just finish out A tier. Sub-Zero and Sector. And I think Sector might be a little controversial, but Sub-Zero's good. He gives you more health. Cold Shoulder's great. Cold Shoulder. Also, Invincible Reversal. Ice Armor. If your character is proficient at throwing fireballs and you just want to say, no, I can play the game, but you can't, Ice Armor deals with that really quick, right? The problem with Sub-Zero is so many of the characters you would pick him with, for the most part, they would rather pick somebody else, right? The only character I think you could argue Sub-Zero is the dominant pick for is probably Havoc, and a lot of people like Havoc Cyrax, and I can't fault them for that either, because Havoc Cyrax is really, really, really good. But that Sub's biggest weakness is every time you'd want to pick him, you got to look at him and say, well, do I actually want someone else? You know, and that kind of sucks. He's got a lot of the good tools, but none of the tools, I suppose, are overwhelming, and that leaves us Sector. Sector, I bet most people would probably put him just one tier higher, and the whole reason I'm not is because simply, I don't think he's as good as these. Missile is not as good as Grenade Toss. Like, they're both ambushes, sure, but Grenade Toss is just so much more applicable in so many more situations than Missile is. And Flamethrower and Teleport Punch are only all right. They're not bad. They are not bad, but they're only all right. Sector can lead to a very, like, all these characters, these are not bad characters by any stretch. They all lead to solid game plans. But Sector is less the one slot fit all character that some of these guys are, and more, okay, I need a specific character with a specific game plan, right? And since he's not as universal, like, frankly, the characters that are more universal because they're stronger, they're better. That's why they're universal, right? The fact that you can't just slap Sector on anybody and just it'll work is sort of testament to the fact that he's not as strong as some of these other characters. And our last choice, Sonya. So Sonya, I'm going to put in B. I kind of like pre-draft the list before the video, right? I actually put her higher, and the more and more I thought about it, the less and less and less impressed I am. Like, Air Punch gives you combos. Sure. Like half of these guys do, right? And they do it better than she does. Because when she bops you with the Air Punch, you better believe you're going flying on the other end of the screen, right? You're not being held in place or being brought back into you. So, like, it's serviceable, but it's nothing special. Ring Projectile, serviceable, but nothing special. And if you want to do Charge Ring, and I've sung the praise of Charge Ring on other videos in the past, right? You need specific characters, specific setups, which sucks. And we have Leg Scissors, combo ability, Invincible Reversal too. But as Invincible Reversal, it doesn't give you any combo ability like, say, Kung Lao does, which is, you know, whatever. That's basically an only Kung Lao thing. And as a move in and of itself, it scales combos horrifically. That kind of sucks. Like, the best thing about her, honestly, is her throw. Because she does the most throw damage of all the cameos in the game. She does 14%. Unlike most people's 11, 12%, right? So that's really good. But, like, I look at her like Motaro. A bunch of cool things that are almost there, but why would you pick her over anybody else? And that's why she's in B rank. And this is your completed tier list. So if you don't like one of my picks, you got to scroll back in the video to find out what I said, I guess. But for the most part, I very much believe in this list. I don't think any cameo is awful, except for maybe Shujinko, because once again, Shujinko, his use is random. Like, you can't just consistently pick him and get consistent results. That's the nature of the character, right? So that's all there is to be said about that. Obviously, some characters are better than others. And since they decided to give cameos a health balancing mechanic, I think that's a way you can fix some of these. Like, Cyrax probably should be a negative health character. Like, if Jax gives you plus 100 health, Cyrax should probably give you minus 100 health. If you want to keep the utility of the moves without nerfing everything, right? And obviously, certain characters can go up or down. Like, if Sonya was plus 50 health, I wouldn't argue against that. Same thing, Motaro should definitely not be a negative health character. I don't know why that's the case. But still, that's my opinions as they currently stand. You guys asked, I delivered. And other than that, let me know what you think in the comments below. And, well, that's it for the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Mortal Kombat.
Love, yeah.